Hello, everybody. Welcome or welcome back. My name is Monique, and I'm on a financial health journey to create an inheritance for the generations to come. I want to do that through consistency and discipline. Today is Wednesday, June the 12th, and you will see this video on Thursday. Yes, Thursday. That's Thursday. Thursday, June the 13th. It's in reference to closing my budget for the week of June 7th through June 13th. So I'd like to thank anybody who's liked or commented on any of my videos, and especially those that have chosen to subscribe to my channel. Truly started this as a way to hold myself accountable, but I understand, recognize, and appreciate the community as a whole. So if you're rocking with me on this journey, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you haven't made up your mind yet, sit with me for a spell. At the end of this video, if this is content you find valuable or enjoyable, please feel free to subscribe. If you hear any noise, that's my doggy moving in and out of the rooms. He can't sit still. I don't know what's going on. This has turned into my life, y'all, for real. There's so many pins and stuff now. But at the end of the day, it's all good. So a few weeks ago, I was at a book fair, and there was a young lady there, an author, and she was giving out these little small gift bags with some candy and other things in them. It had this pin that was in there that says, "You rock. Thank you for making a difference." And I found the bag yesterday while I was cleaning up, and it had that pin, and it also had these two stickers. Didn't realize it, hadn't even paid it any attention. One said breathe, one said focus. So I decided to add those almost like a dashboard in this particular binder, budget binder that I have, because those are two words that probably need to be my main focus for right now in this period of life that I am in. Breathe and then focus. So it's all good. I am newly married, mother of 3, and I have 2 adult children and one that's a senior in high school. My sweets and I are trying to figure out a way to merge our families, our finances, and our future. And we want to make sure that the decisions that we make now will not negatively impact our kids in the future. So I have this Betty's and budget binder that he uses from a manual standpoint. I am still using my digital planner, and I'm going to have this over to the side because I take this iPad mini with me everywhere I go. This documents all of the spending that I do. I color coordinate everything, and then I come back home, and that's when I document it here in the manual version. That way on Sundays when we start to reconcile our money together, we have that information already documented. He has his copy, I have my copy, and then we walk through it. All right, so here's our June monthly overview. I'm going to go in just a tad bit to show that we've only had one thing to clear since the last time, and that's our Apple Care. That has cleared. That's about it so far. So still waiting for AT&T and iCloud to come through, but because both of these are on auto draft, I don't anticipate getting any additional surprises. I got enough of a surprise today. I had to chunk out $400, but we'll talk about it in a minute. So up here in the corner, as far as the tasks are concerned, I've already covered these were done. Beach towels and beach chairs. I did get paid for my elections duties, and it was about $200, and I used that money to cover these beach chairs, the towels, and then to cover some expenses that you probably saw if you watched the cash unstuffing video that I did. For lawn love, my lawn has not grown. It has not rained here either, and that's probably why it has not grown. So I've decided to skip my lawn love, wait, and they'll come in 2 weeks. We're adding another 2 weeks to that, and they've been rescheduled for the 27th. And I'll show you during the budget with me what I'm going to do with that money. So those are all of the things that have cleared so far. Next is our budget. So I'm going to move to June 7th and June 13th, and let's talk about it. I'm going to leave these in here so that I can make sure I'm covering everything, and I hope you can see everything. Let's move all of this mess out of the way. Put them over here to the side. If I need them, I can pull them out. And I'll move this up just a bit so you can at least see the bottom. I went ahead and wrote in the numbers. I felt like that would be easier. I knew I was going to need to talk through a little bit. So I said, let's go ahead and write everything in, get all of that done, because I knew I was going to have to storm through that again, which I did, but it's all good. So anything in green is good. Anything in red is bad. So let's talk about it. All right. As far as my income is concerned, I did get the refund that I mentioned during the cash unstuffing. For Kohl's, I used my credit card to purchase some items so that I could get the 30% discount. But I don't want to get caught in the same mess that I did last month, where I made a purchase, but I did not pay enough money to cover the interest when it came time to make the payment. So with that said, I took $20, which was remaining from my elections pay. And I don't list my elections pay here because that's my money and that's my blow money. And I go ahead and spend it as soon as I get it. But that $20 has already been accounted for. It's already in the bank, in that bill's account. All I needed to do was get the other $33 to cover that full $53 purchase. So I did pull that from sinking funds and I made that deposit today. Next, I pulled $250 from my bills buffer today as well. And that's to help offset the cost of the AC repair that we'll talk about in a minute. So my total, as far as my income is concerned, is $1,149. That's higher than the $861. So I did mark that off in green. Next is my fixed expenses. And so Verizon came out as expected. AT&T has not. It will be $91. It is an auto draft, but I don't have it marked off as paid because it hasn't come out as of yet. But I also had to cover my class dues. I did not pay in May or June. So here's the money for May here. And you'll notice I'm writing a line here. So I'm going to try and track what I'm budgeting versus what I actually pay. And so here, that's why this field is blank because I did not budget it. But here is where I paid for it, the $25, and that has cleared. So my total, instead of $267, was $292 as far as my total fixed expenses. And then I went in and I have, remember, let's go here. We have all of our expenses documented, the coloring, the check marks, etc. All of that was a part of the cash unstuffing. So I won't go over all of that again. But that's the plan that I'm going to have. So as I pay for it or cover the cost, meaning I swiped my card for it, but I planned on coming back here to get money out of one of my envelopes to cover the cost, I'll highlight it and I'll check it off. If I pay cash for the item, I went ahead and highlighted it and I checked it off immediately instead of waiting. So it just kind of depends on how I'm paying for it, where that money is coming from. Did I take cash with me to cover the cost, or am I using my card and I need to reconcile that and put money back into the bank? And I actually, in this case, I ended up taking back to the bank. I did $113 at first, and then I went and put another something dollars. It might have been $56, I'm not sure. It was a total of $159 altogether. So $159 minus $113, which is what y'all would have seen me pull in the cash unstuffing. I added another $46 to that amount that I got from my cash unstuffing. I deposited all of that on today, as well as I went through my sinking funds, and just very quickly, I went through my sinking funds and did a cash condensing. And so I finished a few of my challenges, the mini Monday challenges. So I had a lot of ones and a lot of fives in some of these sinking fund envelopes. I pulled all of that money out, used some prop money in the envelopes now to represent the amount of money that should be there. And then I took $475 back to the bank, had that deposited, transferred it to my Ally account, and then put it in its appropriate buckets based on what I documented here. So I had quite a bit of cash that I did take back to the bank this week. All right. So I used all of these numbers, looked at which categories this money was coming out of, and then went ahead and documented that information here. Not here, but here. Takes me a while to get back to it. So for gas, I budgeted $40. I spent $20. For groceries, I budgeted $80. I spent $80. For home, I budgeted $30 and I spent $22. For dining, that looks wrong. There's no way I spent $30. I know that should have been more. So I've got something wrong on this one. Let's see what we've got here. There's one for dining, 15. And there's one for dining right there, 30 plus 30, $45. That should have said $45. I gotta find out where my little things are so I can turn back to my pages a little easier. All right, so that should have been 45 and that should have been in red. So let's pull this sheet out. I'm gonna get some stock in the whiteout. I'm just gonna buy some stock. I need to go to my public investment app and see where whiteout is trending and just buy some. All right, so this should be 45 and that should be in red. Okay. Supplements is 20. I spent 20. Pets, I gave myself 10. I spent 9. I spent all of my money, the whole 40, and then this amount will be wrong. It may still be in green, but it's definitely not 221. Alrighty, let's get our totals on that one. 20 plus 80 plus 22, 45, 20, 9, 40. $236. So it is still in the green. It's just not as much. So it's 236. Now the reason why you see the 250 circled is because that full 250 has been accounted for. While I only spent this amount with different merchants or vendors, I'm going to take the difference. That $14, that is in my envelopes as well. So that's in the variable expense envelopes, and we'll count up on those to make sure we are where we're supposed to be as far as the amounts are concerned. All right, so that's that was the next step. Okay, so that's going to change some of these numbers down here too. All right, subscriptions should have come out as expected. I'm still waiting on iCloud to come out, which is okay. The amounts are still going to be the same as 17. So here, it wasn't 559, and I'm not taking over 590. All righty. Anybody know how much the stock is running for as far as whiteout is concerned? All right, so my total income was $1,140. Fixed expenses was $292 plus $236 plus 17. It's $545. That's higher than that. So I need to change that anyway to 545. And subtract 1149, and that leaves 604. That's very different. All right, I think I did something wrong. 1149 minus 292 minus 236 minus 17 equals 604. All kinds of numbers is wrong. Okay, we'll have that green. 604. Okay, that page is done. Next, let's put that in. All right, we didn't have anything for debt, so that's a 0. For my high priority sinking funds, or sinking funds in general, $90, which you see down here, and then unbudgeted. So this is the story, and you guys can make it what you wish it to be. All right, my sweets trimmed my bushes. They needed trimming bad. I have a lot of bushes around my AC unit. Now, since he is adamant that he did not cut the lines going to the AC unit, and because I want to make sure I have a happy marriage longer than 30 days, because we got married on May 10th and today is June the 12th. So that I make sure I have a happy marriage. I'll say it this way. I don't know what happened. I just know that a line that went from the house to the AC unit for some reason isn't connected any longer. So the AC guy had to come out and he replaced that line that shall have no name, and he covered it with some additional clear kind of tubing, just in case for some reason somebody else decides to mess with that line. And he had to replace the capacitor. Now, before anyone asks, we're not talking about the flux capacitor from the Back to the Future movies. We're talking about a different capacitor, okay? Because that was the question that I got from a friend, and we won't even go into that anymore. But at the end of the day, the capacitor and the line with the tubing around it, plus doing the diagnostic test to begin with, ran us about $390. So that was the reason why I pulled that $250 from buffer to help kind of offset the cost of that. So we do have that documented in red because this money came from the bills account and it was not planned. All right, so down here I need to change some stuff up. We have 5. Oh, I know why. I was supposed to do 250, but I didn't do 250. I did 236 instead. So that's why this number is off, because it's lower than this amount. And this time I'm going to let it go. I'm just going to let it go. I don't have the energy. I don't have the energy to use whiteout again. I just don't. I feel defeated. I don't feel defeated. I am victorious, but you know, I'm kind of having some feelings. All right, so I'm going to leave it wrong over here, but I'm going to do it right. So if it was right, it would have said, if it was right, it would have actually said the 292. It would have said plus 250, not plus 236, because I just talked about the fact that that extra $14 is still in the envelope, so it should be marked off as spent. And then I went right behind myself and messed up with the numbers. So I'm going to say 250 plus 17 equals 559 is what that number should have shown. So I'm going to put minus 559 here, just because it makes my life easier. So, and then the 90 here, and then the 390 there. I shouldn't have to change anything else. So this 110 might be right. All right, 1149 minus 559 minus 90 minus 390 equals $110. So that's right. So the reason I didn't have to change these numbers, even though I changed this number over here, is because I usually always say for my variable expense, I'm spending the whole 250. Whether I'm spending it someplace or I'm putting it in the wallet, it's still $250 accounted for. So that's why these numbers, the other numbers down here at the bottom, are off, because I went with 236 instead of 250, but I'm correcting it over here. So these are right. These are the numbers. This is the golden record right here that we need to work with. So it's $110. All right. That's $110 under budget versus 237 I thought I was going to have. So I only have 110 to roll over. All right, next is my weekly check-in as far as the meal planning is concerned. And I don't know how I'm going to do this. So the way that this form reads, you're going to work your meal plan a Sunday through a Saturday, right? But I don't run my weeks like that. I run my weeks from a Friday to a Thursday. So I only accounted for these 2 purchases within the purchase of $80 where I spent in groceries. I did not count the stuff for this. Going forward, I may just add this money that needs to be spent onto this, the prior week's budget. I'm not sure. We'll see. At any rate, I thought that my Sunday dinner was going to come in at $29. It was only $19. I made rice, cabbage, ham, yams, you name it. So it was $10 less than I thought. And then the stewed rice and tomatoes with the sausage is, instead of it being $6, it was only $4 for that. So that's all we have on here. I'm not going to do anything around the habit tracker. And then I came up with some numbers here, and they should be right as far as my variable expenses are concerned. So based on the previous amounts that I went over when I cash stuffed this the last time, these are what my numbers should be looking like. So for groceries, I budgeted 80, I spent 80, so I should still have $104 in here. And I'll come out for this part. Here you go. Okay. All right, so budgeted 80, spent 80, so I should still have 104. So 20, 40, 60, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have $105. And maybe that's some change off, and maybe I rounded the wrong way sometimes. I'm not sure, so I'm gonna change this 4 to a 5. Yeah, anybody looked up whiteout and how much you can invest, how much it costs to invest? All right, so that should be 105 instead. Okay. All right, gas. I budgeted 40. I only spent 20, so I should have 55 left. Let's see. 20, 40, 45, 50. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 55. All right. We're good on that. Next, home. I budgeted 30. I spent 22, so I should have a total of 35 still remaining. 20, 25, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 35 on that one. Great. Dining is wrong. So dining is the one that I changed. I counted. So dining is 45. I counted the right amount because I counted this off camera. But I spent 45. That number was wrong, and I don't need it to be read. This is just for documentation. Spent 45, and that should have left me with $27. That's 27. Nothing is left in supplements. Nothing is left in, nope, pets does have something. So I budgeted 10. I spent 9, so I should have 4. Yep. And then this extra category or savings category is a new wallet, and I don't have anything in that right now. We'll stuff that for the first time in our next cash stuffing. All right. I took my change already and put it in there, so I think we are done. I am rolling over $110, and I'm going to take these amounts that I have here for all of my variable accounts, and I'm gonna go ahead and roll those over or document those, and they'll already be on the budget with me sheet that we'll go over on tomorrow after I log into my account and I see how much I'm expected to get as far as pay. So tomorrow's Thursday the 13th, and skinny paycheck error is over. And although they are going to take a little bit more money out of my account for this check that I'm going to get on Friday, by and large, it's going to be back to where it needs to be. So I'm going to go ahead and log in the morning, look at it. And my plan is to make the video maybe later on tomorrow afternoon so that it'll be ready for Friday. If I want to do my cash stuffing, though, along with it, I might actually wait until Friday and do everything then. I'm just not sure. But we are good as far as the budget is concerned, and I'm going to roll over that 100, and here I'm starting my budget for June 14th now, and I can already say my rollover amount is $110 because we just worked that out. Okay, we are good to go. Thanks everybody for your time. You guys have a good one.